Buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Estamos aquí en Guelph, Ontario, en la presencia de un nuevo y talentoso artista, Nicholas Ingram, compañero de alma. Este día, el 22 de marzo de 2008, bueno, ahora es el 23, pero so today we're here in Guelph with a very up-and-coming artist, a talented artist, a friend, a soul friend, on this day of March 22nd. Entonces, le queríamos preguntarle a este artista novedoso, pensativo, de su obra y de sus intereses y de su negocio, el lanzamiento de su negocio. So we wanted just to ask you a little bit about generally about your art, about some of your inspiration.
Okay, we'll start with the inspiration. What inspires me? Well, it's limitless. Really, it's limitless. But the first, thoughts that come to mind are social injustices around the world. Whether it's socially between humans, like between humans and other humans, or cultures and other cultures, whatever, or between humans and the natural world. It may not seem like a social relationship, but it is essentially, because we're the social creatures invading and creating what we think is right, and obviously I don't agree with a lot of the practices that human beings have been engaged in the last, I don't know, since we became conscious. I don't know, right? It's been pretty rough. And however many years later, we call ourselves so evolved and so civilized and progressing in the direction of destruction. It's like we're driving, what is David Suzuki said, it's like we're driving into a brick wall and we're all arguing who's sitting where. It's like we're in the path of destruction. So I guess what inspires me is to hopefully wake people up to the reality that we've created that we don't even know that we're inside of,
And so your medium are, from what I see, are photo images, words, paper, and sewing. How do those mediums help you achieve your goal? Like, what is it about those mediums that you enjoy? Entonces, ¿qué son los medios que utilizas tú para realizar tu meta? ¿Por qué esos medios?
I guess each medium kind of allows me a different outlet, a different way of expressing myself. So let's take poetry, my words that I use. That often tends to be a statement of a reality that is in existence, so I'm trying to highlight something. And if you're talking about my sewing, that's more, there's a connection there, and I'll take the comforter covers that I have as an example, and it's a sun that I've chosen. Now, ultimately, the sun is just a beautiful symbol in and of itself, and sewing, I guess, allows me to appreciate the sun from a different perspective. You see the sun, but it's not the actual sun. It's more a concentration on shape, color, and those things become more of an important aspect in creating sewing or my woodworking, for example. It has to do more with the shape and the texture and the material that I use, whereas photography and poetry are, although there's statements in all of my work, in photography and in poetry, the statements are clearly defined and I'm basically getting to the point.
Yeah. So it's like it's a thesis or an argument that needs to be like you have to deal with it as an audience. You have to.
Right.
You have to deal with what is being said. You can't run away. You can't be lost in the colors or.
Yeah.
La poesía y las imágenes, hay una tesis, hay un argumento que en realidad no se puede negar. Tienes que responder de una otra forma.
Can you do it? Ask me again in English. It's like I lose it when you go in. It's like, what was the question again?
So it's like there's a thesis, there's an argument that needs to be reckoned with, right?
Right. Okay. So using poetry as an example again, yeah, it's like I say something, and there's no running away from it. There's no like, oh, I didn't mean that. Well, it depends on who interprets it, but it's kind of hard to avoid a political statement. At least people are going to be affected by it, whereas a comforter cover, either someone likes it or they don't. There's no, what does he mean by that? You know, it's like it's just a comforter cover, and that's it. Although there is a deeper meaning to it, but I can hide behind it, and I don't have to explain myself necessarily.
No han nacido el verbo veces. Entonces, has lanzado, esta es la apertura de tu negocio, que mucha gente te está apoyando, le está dando mucho ánimo, mucho cariño. ¿Qué es los propósitos del negocio y en qué bases tu visión? So, she's loving it. You know, we're talking a little bit about the grand opening of your business. Many people have come and supported you with a lot of love.
I mean, it appeals to me to be the mysterious artist, you know, who is over there and who is not a part of it, right? And then I just think, okay, so I have however many years here, I don't even know, and how am I going to use my time, you know? And I look at the state of the world, connect to the pain of other humans and say, well, I could try and stop it, you know, as much as I can. So that's the vision, that's the mission. I mean, how large that becomes is, I guess, you know, beyond my control, but, you know, I know even from tonight, that I've affected people, you know, that people have responded. So that already alone in and of itself is the purpose of it all. So as it carries on, then God willing, I mean, I could do this for the rest of my life and, you know, make an impact, you know, a significant impact.
Le quería agradecer a nuestro amigo Nicholas Ingram para estar con nosotros en hispanolondon.com y le deseamos mucho éxito en su carrera. Mucho gusto. Gracias.
Gracias.
Bop, 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 bop.